Does it mean others should not sing? Does it mean others should not sing? Does it mean others cannot sing?
No.
Right? They know that they are not as good as Lata Mangeshkar, but then they are good. Right? The moment you start practicing, for example, in your case, whatever you mentioned, there are some fears. Till the person heals that fear, they are under that stress.
Mm.
They are causing damage to them. Till they learn how to manage with that difficulty. Like, for example, everybody keeps advising me, do this, go for a walk. Unless you go for a walk, you will not be doing this. That is their perception. They don't know the complete reality. So if I keep on letting their talk impact me, affect me, am I living under stress?
Yeah.
I know I have a disability. Because of the disability, right? I am having a posture difficulty. That posture is coming in the way, right? So I'm trying to understand how to manage that posture defect for me to get back to normalcy. That posture has resulted in a severe back pain, which the cell memory is getting triggered, the cell memory of an injury during my college days. That is getting triggered. So I'm working on it, how to overcome. I can't
Okay.
expect overnight to start restoring the problem, right?
Right. Yes.
But then
Yes.
I have to practice on it over a period of time to be able to recover. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So now I have to meditate. I have to constantly convert that meditation into a habit, and that habit has to trigger corresponding support actions. Now, in the
Sir.
meantime, if I let a disturbance to the routine that I have built happen, then to that extent, there is going to be a delay in the restoration process. Are we clear?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
This becomes the third biological law. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, one question here. When you are saying meditation, so
Mm.
what kind of meditation? Do you mean a manifestation meditation? Like whatever, say, for example, if it's the posture, that the posture is straight now and it's all
No,
good, there's no.
so in my meditation, I let go the fear, natural inherent fears,
Okay. Okay.
which is the root cause of the stress. Release
Mm-hmm.
slowly.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So kind of releasing of fears when we are in meditation.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
That is why for the communication and stress, the old habit is sit in front of a mirror and read aloud, read aloud, read aloud, so that the energies there don't flutter because of the thought in the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a practice.
Right. Yes.
right? The same woodpecker now has to be tuned to reverse its direction of operation.
Right. Yes,
Hmm.
sir. Yeah.
So we'll wait for another 10 minutes. So do you want to give the summary to the group which joined later? Nivedita,
Yes, sir.
can you speak about what we discussed while others joined late?
Okay. So I don't know, you explained so nicely. I will just try.
No,
Uh,
see, that itself is a fear in you. Anticipating that, I gave the example of Lata.
yeah, so we were actually we started with, sir was telling that the like any layer, like we have multiple layers, multiple bodies, three separations. So like mind and energy and physical body, and then any emotion, like any disruption in any, say, energy body or mental body, and then it comes to our physical body, it manifests over there. And uh, and then actually gave the example. I just asked at outside, so we were talking about, like, for example, guilt, that thing, the goalkeeper, he had the guilt feeling, the last week example, and that led to sequence of spiraling events, eventually to his health problem. So then I had the question that was the guilt thing, and there could be a other way around, when we feel that same situation is occurring to us again and again, wherein others are, maybe we want to be friendly and they don't want to be friendly, or others are saying something or doing something to us where, we are like kind of a victim pattern is happening over here. So it's the other way around. It's not that we are doing, but someone is doing, but it definitely is affecting us. And eventually, because if we let it affect it, it leads to the disease again. The same spiral gets there also triggered. But and then sir gave actually a very good example of the woodpecker, how it, I think he did it last week, but he explained it very nicely, that it chooses the weakest spot and then it just goes on pecking. And if the tree is not is strong enough, in our case, if our energy levels are not strong enough to handle the situations, it will eventually create a small peck and then a hole and then a big hole so that it can make a house over there. So same way, if the situations, we have to know how to handle it, the wisdom, and the energy thing. And then he was explaining that, it involves fear and all those things. When people are saying or whatever is triggering it, there are fears because of which we are doing it. We need not be good or perfect at all the things always. Maybe sometimes it could be little lesser than normal crowd, but still there could be other things we might be good at. So with wisdom we have to, and meditation and stuff, we have to reverse the process, basically whatever the woodpecker, so that, because instead of woodpecker it could be a energy, a certain energy which is again and again affecting us. And if we want to revert it, we have to create another positive counter energy and start the reversal process so that we can be strong enough. Because just like in nature, if the tree, slowly starts healing, the woodpecker will reduce its frequency of pecking, and one day maybe it will go to another tree because it doesn't work, and the tree will heal itself on its own. And maybe when it's totally healed, that portion will be more stronger than other portions. Same way, if we do the practice with faith, belief, because yes, it definitely takes a certain amount of wisdom, support, and belief in the system, because it takes time. It's not that it's going to happen in one day. It takes a period of time. So when it happens, it will be healed. Sir, you can add if I missed something onto it. Sir, you are in mute.
Okay. So that woodpecker can be replaced with energy in motion because the woodpecker is repeatedly hitting at a particular point. Correct? In and around that point, which happens to
Yes.
be a natural weak spot in the pattern that has got created over time. That pattern is the collection of the cells because we are basically a community of cells, right? Doing a particular function. The function is the pattern and the integration of the natural forces. Correct? Yes or no? Now, this energy in motion. What is energy in motion? Energy in motion is equal to emotion, which is emotion. Are you all with me?
Nice. Yeah, nice equation, sir.
Hmm. Right.
Emotion.
So this
Energy plus motion.
emotion is loaded with what? A
Feelings.
feeling.
Yeah.
Right? Right? Or
Yes.
a feelings that is already loaded, or the acidity of that feeling is already loaded in. That is feeling, correct? That will pierce deeper and deeper, and that becomes the repeated pecking of the woodpecker on the weak spot in the cell pattern that we have in our community of cells, right? In other words, between the motion and the response or the impact of that motion, you are creating an environment of conflict, correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So when you are creating a conflict, right, the conflict is active. Yes?
Yes. Active.
Active, that phase. Now, as long as the conflict is active, the damage will continue
Mm-hmm.
or the impact of the conflict will continue.
Yes.
Once the waning of that conflict starts, the healing starts. Correct?
Yes.
That healing is manifesting as symptoms in line with what the biology says, natural biology. The impact of that is, right? Okay. Are you aligned with the thought process? Right?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
that means there are two things that are happening. We are a combination of energy, consciousness, wisdom. We are a combination of biology, the psyche, and the mind. Instead of body, I am using the word biology. Okay? We are like the tree trunk with its own set of feelings, with its own energy levels, with its own combination of the energy to matter conversion.
Hmm.
Hmm. So that energy to conversion to whatever we are is dependent upon a number of systems, and these systems are connected and controlled by we saw that in the last session, no? Did we see it in this form? Did we see it? Where is it connected? Hmm. What we discussed last time is the mind is blank, is it? I mean, we are taking Patriji's message of empty the mind literally. Come on, Ramakrishna sir, Deepika ji, Lakshmi ji. Lakshmi Talanki, I think, is gone into something else. How do we originate biologically?
Sir, what was the question?
No, I have forgotten the
We
question.
originate with you can start from cells, combination of
Correct.
cells.
We originate from the germ,
Okay.
right? The
Yeah.
germ, that germ through cell proliferation or what they call mitosis, metasis, not mitosis, metasis, METASIS. That means multiplication of the cells. We become three different cells, which is the endoderm, ectoderm, and the mesoderm. And these get converted based on the pattern that is there at the time of the cell formation.
To
It
the
gets
various
formed
body
into
organs.
various organs, correct?
Yeah.
Right? But these are controlled by corresponding layers of the mind or the brain, right? They are connected
Yes.
and controlled by the brain, and the connection is established by means of the nervous system. Okay? At every stage, our favorite Dr. Joe Dispenza shows up. This is not the diagram, no? Where is that diagram? That green colored one. That is why no. It is, pathway. No. Ah, right? So,
Okay.
our favorite diagram, right? This comes into picture, and that is how we are made. Correct? Now, where were we? So, here, that conflict, that layer in the body becomes uh, yeah. So that goes through various transformations and results in the disease, as we were talking, the woodpecker creating the energy in motion. That energy in motion, the woodpecker can also, in this analogy, act as an external event or an internal event stored, right? Until they run their course, the disease active phase will be on. And when they have finished running their course, the body's natural mechanism of restoring each cell does not start. And once that starts, in this scheme of things, that manifests as symptoms, and we start treating the symptom. We don't start treating the actual problem. So whenever that symptom comes, you will give it a chemical environment for it to try to heal itself. Right? One element that we had not completed when we were discussing this is right. Now, let us look at this. Interesting. So, how do you resolve the conflict? First of all, where is the conflict originating from? Right? Where is the conflict originating from? The conflict is originating from a natural process, right?
Yes.
That process is, yeah, Lakshmi, you have something?
No, that's it, sir. I just, yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Now, what we are saying is, it is the action of energy in motion, but the root cause of all of these happens to be in these. These are the three triggers that need to happen, correct?
Mm,
Right?
okay.
There is an external circumstance change. The outcome of whatever you started has gone into a frustration phase, right?
Mm,
Instead of learning from it, we are becoming conscious and recognize that the stresses that are producing that. You don't do that. You are not aware of them. So
mm,
that is resulting in a feeling, and that feeling is you are doing nothing about it to manage that or resolve that. So you are getting into a deeper situation. True. And that is becoming the disease now. Yes?
yes, sir.
Right? Now we have to understand, we let it dissect. Right? So what he is saying is, there are what are known as 7 types of gut hungers. Well, we already established, right? The gut, the mind, the body are interconnected. So there are 7 kinds of gut hungers, which are essential needs that all humans have according to biological law. Okay. When these are not met or satisfied, they become hungers in the gut. Are you able to digest that statement?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
These guts are identified as follows. Worth. All humans want to feel noticed, important, and good enough, like you matter. That is why we like to see our number of likes on social media. Okay, he's just giving an example. Okay, you want to be liked, you want to be appreciated, you want to be recognized. But then, in a fit of anger, we damage that feeling in the others. Right? So we become the cause of the conflict. So whenever they start seeing us, they will start wondering, why is this fellow behaving like this? How long is this fellow going to? And, okay, if he behaves, it's his problem. You can negate it that way. Right? So now control. Humans want and hunger for a sense of security or control, like a consistent routine or schedule. The need for independence, for doing things our way. Right? Now, interestingly, when this is not there or out of the schedule, then that becomes a dissatisfied or unsatisfied hunger. And you'll start wondering, why did this happen? Because basically, we are all people who want reason. As
Sir,
Viktor Frankl
excuse me.
says. Pardon.
So,
Yeah.
in addition to the words security and control, can we also add the words insecurity and fear?
That's the outcome, the opposite of it. This is what we desire,
Okay. Mhm.
right?
Okay.
When you are not there, that insecurity is a manifestation of a kind of fear, right?
Yeah.
Now that becomes the woodpecker in your case.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. So then purpose, a reason. Why are you here? Connection to something greater and something meaningful. So we want a purpose. Likewise, we want a change. We don't want the same stuff being fed on a daily basis, which will weaken us because we start getting the feeling of boredom. Right? Connection. We cannot live in isolation. So we need connections. We need relationships. Right? Right. Then we need growth. We cannot stagnate. Likewise, we need comfort. These are the 7 types of hungers. If not met, right? Let us understand this by means of it. If you find that
Sir,
your
one
partner has,
question. Okay.
yes, yes,
Just one
go
question.
ahead.
Sorry, sir. Sir, why are they called gut hungers? I mean, gut. I mean, I always thought it's like something related to body because all these are something that I mean we want. I don't know, mentally or emotionally. All this is kind for me. It's like
No,
more emotional.
this is the connection. See, everything starts with the gut. Remember that. Because the desire is triggered at your adrenal, which is part of the gut, which is the second brain in the body. The gut raises the desire and that goes to the heart where feeling is triggered and then that is handed over to the mind. So you are not 3 separate entities, right? You are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the psyche. They are all integrated. And that is the manifestation of a desire. The mechanism of the desire starts there.
Sir, can we say that it is, I don't know, I mean, is it like the connecting point? I mean, the desires are coming and then they're coming to physical body from the gut to the heart to, as you explained.
Yes.
Okay.
See,
Thank
Nane,
you. Mm-hmm.
consider yourself devoid of all desires. What kind of a creature will be the combination of no desire? Suppose there was no desire. Will you be, you're from Bombay, right? No, you should be from Calcutta or West Bengal.
Yes, sir. Yeah, sir. Actually, yeah. I mean, from Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh, though we are Bengalis. So, no
Yeah.
desire. I feel if a person has no desire, I mean, then there is no body. I mean, there's nothing actually. I mean, no desire is nothing. I mean, it's a useless state, kind of.
No, so that
I
means
mean,
your
there's
gurus
no
are all
joy,
useless, is it?
happiness. There is
No,
nothing.
one second. Right. So, no desire is no progress.
Yes.
Desire out of progress is disaster. Correct? Desire beyond
Mm-hmm.
normal is greed. Greed is a disaster, right?
Yes.
Correct. So, when you are looking at it, so desire has to be, that means there is a trigger. Okay. That
Yes, sir.
trigger can have an outcome which is positive, which can have an outcome which is negative, or there can be no outcome as far as your expectations are concerned.
Yes, sir.
But there will be an outcome. When you take cognizance of that outcome, then you are empowering the woodpecker to act on you. Are you able to understand the analogy?
Sir, can you repeat the last? When we take cognizance to the outcome.
Correct,
Yeah,
right?
you are right.
Then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are triggering the woodpecker's action.
Yeah, it's something like when Krishna says, now I can connect when he says that, don't work for, I mean, relieve the fruits of your karma.
Correct.
It's
Right.
like, yeah, but we are always attached to the result.
So let us take a practical example and try to understand. It says, let's say that you find your partner is cheating on you. Okay. Now, that cheating, how would you respond on something? Your business partner is pilfering money, let us say. Okay. How would you feel?
Very bad, cheated,
You feel
and the
cheated.
relation.
Then that will trigger a goodbye to your self-worth and a feeling of control. You have no control on what's happening. Okay. That is like not accepting something. The system is not accepting something. That means it has become an indigestible conflict. Okay. It's a natural reaction, correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Will you accept being cheated?
No, sir.
Right. So you will say, where am I losing control? I am losing control means I am demeaning myself one way or the other. Okay. Now, so indigestible conflict and subsequent SIBO. What is SIB? I also don't know. So I'm just going to the net to find out. It is something to do with biological. Small intestine bacterial overgrowth. Okay. So a feeling here has created a small intestine bacterial overgrowth and candida symptoms that manifest over the next few months. That means you have the woodpecker is repeatedly hammering. Okay. That is creating over a prolonged duration, or say you experience an excess amount of stress at once. Your workload at your job requires 48 hours in a 24 hours that is available to get it done. Right? Or your 17-year-old cat dies. These are all instances of life, correct?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Now what happens? You have to move buildings suddenly due to a water leak, or you are sleep deprived. These, there goes control with your never ending to-do list and sudden job move, loss of connection from social life, etc., are going to create a distance, right? And they become the stressors in your life. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
that loss of control. So on the flip side, if life feels out of control and our need for certainty may lead to obsession over calories. So you will start eating more. You will become nervous, you will react in a particular way, right? That hunger needs to be satisfied. If that hunger is not satisfied, you need to identify that hunger and feed it with the appropriate, righteous nutrient for it. Are you all able to follow where this is leading us? No. Does silence mean yes or does silence mean no?
Yes, sir.
So
So when
basically,
like
this is
sometimes,
a
Yeah,
yes,
this
sir.
is a,
Please go ahead.
yeah,
so this is an
Ramkrishna.
accumulated feeling of insecurity or anger or anxiety, whatever, over a prolonged period of a time is going to result in a disease without even our knowledge.
Exactly. Because the involuntary system, right? This system is a continuous process. It is a fully automated process. So is your habit.
Yeah.
Because what is habit? the actions that we perform, the responses that we give, we have fallen into the trap of that becoming a regular way. That is how the mechanism will get influenced to continue working. Okay. Are you with me so far? So
Sir,
till
I would
we,
like to add a couple of sentences here.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, see the anger and the agony you get out of someone cheating you. You use the word partner, right? The partner can be anyone. Even your servant maid is a partner in your
Yes,
day-to-day
yes,
life, because
yes.
there is a
That
contract.
is why I
Those
didn't go by
hospital.
what is the documented example there.
Yeah. So, and to the
Hmm.
same extent, your life partner is of the highest trust person. Whereas
Correct.
probably the auto rickshaw guy is of least trust person. When an auto rickshaw guy cheats you, you accept it and then move on. Chalo, 5 rupiya gaya. But whereas, as you go up in the ladder, the amount of a pent up emotions of the baggage will actually cause the disease.
No, it's true. So that's what he's saying. That conflict becomes an indigestible, unacceptable entity in this natural process which is happening.
Yeah.
That is part of the gray matter that is coming here.
Yep.
Before it becomes the black solid body. Okay? Right. So, going back. Now, till you start resolution of this, in you, right? Understand this and reverse the process. That is, till you recognize those 7 entities and identify them, you will not be able to move your progression into phase 2. What is phase 2? What is phase 2 here? What is the phase 2?
Resolution.
Is the appearance of
Yes.
disease.
So that is, no, phase 2 is basically the not appearance of the disease, appearance of the healing process.
Yes.
That is symptom.
Yeah.
Okay. Because your natural body components are made to heal themselves. Okay. Right? So basically, what you are doing is, he is giving some case studies. You can go through them independently. Right? And wherever there are doubts, we will take them up for discussion. Because otherwise, we will be here only. So any kind of a shock, loss of connection, lack of sleep, any of these, right? Those 7 varieties that will always keep repeating themselves, right? Please go through these. These are the same things that are there in the book, right? So we have a hunger for these 7 entities which trigger our health problems. They are the natural day-to-day stressors that we are subjected to. Okay, let us move to phase 3. What is phase 3 talking about? So there is one element of embryology that we need to learn, but at this point, we will not introduce it because it will deviate us from where we want to be. All embryology, you can read, I will post that section, or you can even download the chapter from GNM. He is talking about embryology where our origin, right? Our origin starting at these three layers, right? Which are the three layers? Somebody answer.
Endoderm, and mesoderm.
Yeah, right. These three layers and where they are connected, everything we are made from here. So, as a complete person, these have a multiple roles in our health. The endoderm, the ectoderm, and the mesoderm, because that is the set pattern which has made you what you are today from a biological perspective. Is that a right way to look at it? See, the endoderm, the ectoderm, and the mesoderm, immediately after conception, right? The egg is guided by a principle, and that principle becomes the DNA that is running through, which is nothing but, okay, spiritually we say the karmic, that is one side of the pattern, the thought process, your purpose of life, all those are integrated entities. They are not in silos. Okay. So that has made you what you are. And in the process, they are controlled by one portion of the brain, the first organ that gets created. Though physically it is the lungs, spiritually it is the brain. Okay. So what is happening? Physical disease in the body is derived from dis-ease in the mind and in the spirit. We discussed this till now, correct? That's the example also we consider. Where did that originate? In the mind. Are you with me? Yeah. Right. And they are connected. In the brain, there is a spot. The impact of that shock is experienced in the body, in the mind, and in the psyche. Okay. And since they are all connected, either through the nervous system and the nerves, or through their own experience-based cell memory, that guides the entire performance. And right, so the biological law classifies all diseases according to their relationship to a specific germ layer. The making by classifying all these growths, swellings, and ulcers according to their germ layer correspondence, we find that all diseases that relate to the same germ layer share special features, because all of them are nothing but a program, right? Concerning the mesoderm, we have differentiate between the cerebellum controlled and the cerebellum. So how they are physically, there are two types that are controlling those associated diseases, right? And every disease, as a result of the evolution pattern to each of these, right? A specific part of the brain, a specific type of conflict, a specific location in the brain, a very specific histology, the process of its development, etc. The specific germ layer related microbes, in addition to every so-called disease, has, in evolutionary terms, a very specific biological meaning. Have you understood what I just read out? Just now what we studied is, these are all the different manifestations that keep coming up as a result of the evolutionary theory that we have just understood, right? In other words, okay, all are able to come to this conclusion.
Sir, did we not, but in the first law, did we not discuss that the symptoms of a disease arise during the resolution phase?
See, I didn't talk about the resolution.
Yeah, that's why, but here we are not talking about resolution.
No, we
Here
are
it's
not
like,
talking resolution. We are talking about what is that disease. It is a deviation in any of these that is one conflict can impact at the brain level, right? It can be a specific type of conflict that is going to be carried to the areas that are connected to that component of the brain. When you say the brain, you are talking about 4 layers, correct?
hmm,
What are the 4 layers? The brainstem, cerebellum, cerebral cortex, and cerebral medulla. So if it is the ectoderm, right, which is the cerebral cortex, the largest area, it is viruses if they exist, and it could also be some specific bacteria. Are you with me? Right?
yes,
If it
sir.
is the mesoderm, it is connected to the cerebral medulla and cerebellum. It is generally bacteria, etc. Or it could be mycobacteria, which is TB and fungus related, etc. Or if it is the endoderm, it is everything that is connected to the brainstem. All those organs, the type of conflict, their response is triggered to this, right? So they are connected and interconnected. So one conflict can result in multiple areas depending upon their connections. So the associated is that a right conclusion to draw? Is it logical?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, beyond logic, it could be if it is logical, it is basically your
So basically, sir, what we are like, you can correct me if my understanding is not right. So it's like when there is a conflict, definitely there is a effect on the brain and all the layers as you're showing here. And
Hmm.
during the resolution phase also we will see the conflict. Now
Yes.
the discussion that we had, if I go back there, so what I understand now is after today's discussion is that it depends. I mean, sometimes the doctor can interfere at the disease phase, that is the conflict phase, or some,
No,
which is
he
good.
is,
But
see, generally your doctor is treating what is the basis of his medication,
symptoms.
but what is symptom?
Like some CT scan or something like that.
It is a natural process. Symptom is manifestation of a natural
Disease.
process.
Right. Yeah, so
Okay.
that manifestation can be in conflict stage or can be in a resolution stage that the doctor
No,
is not aware of.
it is not in, see, no, that conflict stage that you are talking about is, you are taking it to a different, this one. So, what does a, what does a prolonged conflict mean?
That it's there for more than 4 months.
Prolonged conflict means you are not letting the phase 2, you are not letting it go to phase 2.
Right.
That means you are making it, chronic. So you
Yeah.
are letting it heal some, then you are again triggering. You are again letting it heal some, you are again triggering. Every time you are triggering, the strength of that, the intensity of that conflict is impacting you more and more. Are you clear?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's there. Yeah.
Right. So what we need to actually understand is that we need to be able to, all cells and organs that derive from the outer germ layer have their control center in the cortex of the cerebrum, which is the youngest part of the brain. Correct? So what does this mean? There is a clear order to their location. For they begin on the right with the disease of the mouth and so on. He is basically giving you an explanation, saying that there is a location. You can read it, you will understand. This is there in the booklet already circulated. But we don't need to go very deep. We just need it at the, what do you call it, the process level. Right? So once we resolve all these conflicts, we are in a position to talk about the healing process. Are you with me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what is he saying? How many kinds of them are there? There are 4 kinds of this deviation. You are a whole person, and thus health issues should be viewed holistically. So what is physical disease in the body? Derived from the word disease. This is a discomfort in the mind and spirit. Likewise, physical disease such as sleep deprivation or lack of exercise also disrupts peace and causes disrupt in the mind and spirit. There are 4 primary mental and spiritual stressors which are going to keep continuing or showing their impact throughout our day-to-day existence. First one is direct survival, morsel or indigestible conflict. Second is attack, intactness. When you are attacked, if the tree bark was very strong, the trunk of the tree, would the woodpecker be able to bore a hole into it? Think
No.
about it. Right? So that is the second type of conflict. The third one is self-devaluation, self-esteem. Where did I go wrong? Where have I created a problem for myself? Right? And the third one is territory and separation conflict. Like recently, I suffered a territory conflict at home. Suddenly, the room with which I had developed a comfort, I had to be assigned to someone. I could see that everything that belonged to me move out. And that caused a disruption. I didn't expect, right? I was not in a position to accept it. That became a problem for me. So it became, I felt attacked, right? I felt that I was not given the necessary importance in the house. So this becomes a conflict now. Because I've been reading this and all, I realized where the gap was and I was able to let go. Right? So this impacted us very badly. Okay. So these kind of things happen in our life. Right? Okay. So this morsel conflict, he calls it the morsel conflict. Right? Something that is happening which you are not able to. Okay, we will end the class here. Because there's a lot of disturbance, so our recording also will get corrupted. Okay. So
Okay,
this, yeah, I mean, I think we are losing out because of other disturbances. So I will end the session today. We'll continue tomorrow.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that.
Thank you, sir. That's
Thank you.
fine, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, just go through this chapter, huh? The
Yeah.
chapter on the biological, what do you call it? These 5 laws of biology, law 3. Law 3 and 4, if you come prepared, we will try to complete this tomorrow. 3, 4, and 5. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Right, bye.
Thank you. Yeah.